welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. I am hopefully straightening out the green screen. I wanted to thank everybody for all the comments I got since I redid the set again, my parents visiting. Hopefully it is flattened out now. And I really appreciated all the comments I got about my behind-the-scenes look. And yes, as some of you noted, this is a little bit cramped space. It's a small house, 672 square feet. I know by the standards in other countries that's not that small, but U.S. standards is pretty small, and it could be more spacious, but it is laid out in an interesting way, let's say. All right, so let's take a look at the pens I have in use this week. I have my Waterman Current, a Lamy 2000 with a broad nib. Backed by popular request, and because I missed it, is my Platinum 3776 with a koi finish. I have my, what is this one? Pelikan MK10, a Platinum President, Noodler's Conrad, another Platinum 3776, a Pon 52, and a Senator, which I will explain this gap when I get to that pen. And as always, in my pocket, Lamy 2000 inked up with Lamy Black. So, let's take a look at how these puppies are writing. So, with my Waterman Current, the focus will come in here and just, there we go. Whoops. I gotta write a date first. October 27th, 2017. And I am actually recording this. That's why this is a little bit late. Just set that there. Last night I had conferences until 9, and I'm not a night person. I came down here thinking, oh, I'll record a Pens in Use. And I realized as I started it, I was just incoherent. I'm not a night person. So I thought, you know what? Let's just wait. So nobody thinks I've been drinking, because I wasn't. I was tired. I don't like to film stuff after 9, or close to 9. So anyway, I'm filming this a little late. So October 27th, this is a Waterman Current. This has been a fun pen. I suspect I will be filming a review of it soon. Has a nice inlaid nib. I kind of like the finish. I had the lighting a little bit better worked out earlier, so I'll have to think about that. Especially with a finish like this. When I look at this, I think if I hold the pen at the right angle, it kind of shows it. Let's see how close. Oh, yeah. Probably not lit the best, but that's a beautiful, beautiful finish over a metal pen. So anyway, the ink in it is Noodler's. Black Swan. That was me testing out and making a prediction how the heck I'm going to show the finish. That's a interesting sort of a red. Do I want to call it a brownish red maybe? That sounds about right. My Lamy 2000 has a companion ink. And I love the broad nib in this pen. Not exactly a daily writer nib, but a nice nib with a very stub-like character. This one is also a Noodler's ink. This is Australian Rose. I've been told that Noodler's Blue Nose Bear is all. Sorry, I'm putting the pen away as I talk. I'm told that Noodler's Blue Nose Bear is also in this group. I don't have it inked up right now. It's an ink I own. It's just not an ink I use that often. It's an okay color. All right, the pen everybody's been waiting for. The Koi is back. It was actually one of the commenters, I want to say Mary Harper, pointed out that this is, production has been suspended for platinum celluloid pens. I did some research on it. Apparently it's not because they're stopping the manufacture, it's just a shortage of the celluloid material. So I'm hoping that means that it's really popular and they just need more in order to continue. I have the celluloid I wanted the most. If I were to buy another celluloid in this platinum pen, probably I would get the jade. It's a little different look than this. This is just, you know, no question. When I saw this, I just said, yeah, I want that. Let's see. I can do a close-up, right? Kind of neat. It's a sheet that gets wrapped around a cylinder, and that's why it has a seam in it. Celluloid's just an interesting plastic. This ink is Noodler's. I must have been on Noodler's kick. I don't know. But I like this one. Ottoman Rose. Very attractive red. It's just a little bit off from a traditional red. Next pen it's a vintage 1970s Pelikan. It's a MK10. I had an interesting, what is his name? One of the channels I watch anyway, mentioned about the name of Germany and some other countries and how, especially Germany, how it's different in different languages. And, you know, it had to do with history and why Germany would go by things like Allemand and whatever. And you know, why not call them by the name that they go by, or your language's equivalent of that? I'm trying to remember what ink is in this pen. I'm sorry, I can't remember. Oh, I remember. Noodler's Navy. Anyway, so that's why I try. I don't succeed, but I try to get my pronunciation right on these pens. Even the French pens, I struggle a little with Montblanc and others. All these French inks that Platinum seems to like using. But that's why I make the attempt. I think that actually came up this week. I did a review of the Platinum President. Not, fancy pen, just a nice pen. I am told that there's an issue with cross-threading. That'll happen maybe if you put the cap... Oh, sort of felt it there. If you put the cap on maybe at an angle and then the threads don't get aligned properly. I haven't experienced it, but I am told. And I probably, if I'd done a little more research, would have thought to put that into my review. This is a broad knit, but as I said, it's a cursive italic ground by Dan Smith of the Nib Smith. And the ink is yet another... Wow, I was really on a Noodler's kick. Noodler's Apache Sunset. And as one commenter wrote when I did the review, in the wrong pen, this can look like just a very flat, plain... Sorry, I'm grabbing my pen case and refilling it as I do this. It can look like a very flat, plain, uninteresting ink. You get it in the right pen, though, and that's when you see this amazing shading. And I think this is a pen that shows the amazing shading. This one, I got talked into buying another sample of Robert Oster Fire and Ice. So this is a Noodler's Conrad. It's an old one. I don't think you can get this color in the Conrad anymore. It's just plain black. I put a Goulet 1.1 millimeter nib into it. It's coming out very wet. I wrote some pen pal letters earlier this week, and I used this on a few pages. And it did have sheen, but again, not enough to really be amazing. But it was there. So maybe I'm expecting too much. I don't know. I like the concept, and it's not a bad looking blue. It's A lot like the Noodler's Navy. On this paper, yeah, I'm seeing, you probably aren't. Oops, and you totally missed all that. I apologize. I'm seeing around the end a little bit of sheen, and I see a little sheen right there. But this paper isn't a good paper for showing a sheen. This is a more absorbent paper than some others. Can I zoom in? Let me see how that goes. This may end in tears. Oops, wrong way. So I'm going to try and zoom in on the Conrad. And I think autofocus is at its limit. Yeah. So that was a benefit of the old cameras. I could slap a magnifying lens on it. This I cannot. But this has enough other advantages. You know, how much do you really need to zoom into the writing? You know, nibs sometimes, yes. But that's probably good enough for zooming. Okay. Moving along here. Line this up. Oh, let's zoom out a little more. Whoops, wrong way. Wrong way. There we go. All right, this was a Platinum 3776 with a Shengyo finish. And I have a C nib in it. Which means double broad. And I don't remember what ink that is. Oops, not that notebook. I did, because I knew I'd forget something. I did bring down what I'm now using as my ink journal, so I can keep track of what the heck's in each of these pens. And there we go. Oh, that's been in there for a while. October 5th, 2017, Sailor Jentle Grenade. That's a nice sheening ink also. Try that dot again. This pen I got in a trade with a gentleman from Norway. This is a Pon 52, which is actually a Norwegian make. This is the pen where I really started getting serious about vintage reviews, and why I haven't done any reviews on these Senators yet because I can't find enough about them. I'm doing more research under the Mertz and Krell name for them. So I have hopes. Pon 52. The ink is Sailor, Jentle, Epinard, which apparently is French for Spanish. And why a Japanese brand is using French names, I don't know, but I do know that Platinum seems to have a thing for French. The Platinum Nice, which is one of the versions of the 3776. But this is another ink. This is one of my favorite inks. I just love that color. One more pen. And I said I'd mention why this gap is here. So let's put the Pon away very carefully. Nice vintage pen. Doesn't look like much, but it writes beautifully. And it's definitely unique. Okay. This Senator is one where I broke my vow not to buy any new pens for a while. This is the one where it has a rather large blind cap over the piston turning knob. Metal blind cap. This is a slip fit. This is just like one of my other Senators. The only difference is my other Senator has a piston turning knob back here and no blind cap. But what I have discovered with both pens is if I cap them fully, and it's probably partly because of they travel with me, when I uncap them, it seems to pull a lot of ink, or I shouldn't say a lot, but a few drops of ink out of the nib and splash them over inside the cap, and you end up with ink all around the grip, and I don't like that. It's not noticeable when I don't fully cap the other one, and it caps pretty securely anyway. This one, it's more noticeable because of the gap. So this is a Senator of some sort. Montegrappa. Definitely heavy on the reds right now, aren't I? Bordeaux, which is sadly a discontinued ink. It's one that I think works well in very fine nib pens. So if I close this entirely, it's pretty tight. Okay, and it didn't do it that time, but that's a problem I've had with this pen and the other Senator. And I found, if I do this, hear the pressure? Most pens have a little hole in the cap somewhere, usually hidden underneath the clip, but somewhere, so that when you pull the cap off, you don't have suction to suck ink out of the nib. And I've noticed with this one and the other Senator, it doesn't have it. Now the screw cap Senator that I was given doesn't have this issue. But these two that I've purchased with the same design do have the issue. So I don't know why, but it is what it is. Just for the sake of completeness, let's include Lamy 2000. This is my daily writer. This, I don't really keep track of how often I fill it. This doesn't really appear in my ink journal. It's just always inked up. When it gets low, it gets inked. So those are my pens in use this week. Next week is Fountain Pen Day, so my pens in use on Fountain Pen Day is probably not going to be a typical pens in use. I'll try to think up something more interesting. I'm also planning, with the help of a commenter who I don't know if he's just done private messages, so I won't say his name, but from Texas, I'm planning a fountain pen giveaway to students. Jinhao 992s actually. They're what I can afford. So we'll see how that goes. I bought a bottle of Pilot Black, and so I'll be able to fill them up real cheaply, and it's reasonably washable. So hopefully that doesn't end in tears. I am still waiting on some to arrive, but yeah. So that's my big giveaway plans for Fountain Pen Day. I've got a couple of other slightly nicer pens that I've reviewed but didn't want to keep that I'm probably going to give away to my older students, and everybody gets Platinum Black, so nobody's fighting over color. And anyway, like I said, I'll think up something for my pens in use that week. So until then, I hope this was interesting, hope it was useful, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.